Hello, I am Dr. Ruhi Bakhare, and today I am going to have a discussion on nature and fundamental concepts of managerial economics. Whenever we talk about managerial economics, the two things always come into our picture, that is the choice and scarcity. When we talk about scarcity, it is the study of choice under the condition of scarcity. And actually, scarcity, if we want to see or if you want to talk, it is about the resources in our society, scarcity of labor, scarcity of capital, that is the human capital and capital stock, scarcity of land, which is the natural resource, and scarcity of entrepreneurship. The fundamental problem which every economy faces is what to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce, are the resources economically used, problem of full employment, and the problem of growth. In order to understand economics properly, we need to have a clear-cut understanding of microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics means it is a Greek word which says it means small. And microeconomics means the study of behavior of individual household, firms and government. The choices which they make and the interaction which they have in the market related to the demand and the supply of the goods and services. Microeconomics always focuses on individual part of the economy rather than the whole part. When we talk about macroeconomics, it is again a Greek word and the meaning of which is the large. Macroeconomics always give a bird's eye, the big picture of the economy as a whole. A quick points of distinction between microeconomics as well as macroeconomics. Microeconomics deals with the theory of demand, that is nothing but the consumption part, theory of production, theory of distribution which includes rent, wages, interest, profit and welfare economics. And macroeconomics talks about different policy measures to solve the major economic problems which are related to poverty, unemployment, inequality, income and wealth, inflation and deflation, and the policy matters related to monetary policy, fiscal policy or trade policy of the economy. When we talk about economics or when we question about economics that whether it is science or an art, actually it is both. It is science as well as arts. It is science because it deals with statistics, calculation, forecasting, the entire methodological approach towards the problem solving. It is also fine arts because it deals with human being. And whenever human being is involved, the lot of uncertainty is also there. So actually it is an applied science in practical aspects. Obviously there are limitations for economics as well. Economic realities are very complex and they are very difficult to grasp. Economists cannot hold his facts to observe them. Economic facts are constantly sleeping through the figures. Besides the economic spheres, experimentation is not possible, which we can easily do in other sciences. Experimentation can be possible only under the controlled environment, and we cannot fully understand people's present actions nor appraise their future interactions. Hence, if there are sudden changes in the trends, fashion, and taste of the people, it actually disturbs the economical calculation. As there are limitations, obviously there has to have certain assumptions also. Every economic law starts with the statements other things remaining the same. Economics also assume that consumers act is always rational and they seek maximum satisfaction, which is actually practically not true. No consumer is rational in nature. His choices, his preferences, his taste, his options, his preference always keep on changing according to changing time. A same customer can react in different way at different times for the same product. So it is difficult to actually predict his mind. Consumers' taste always remain constant. It is again one of the very unrealistic assumption of economics. It also assumes that there is a large number of buyers and sellers in the market. Yes, to a greater extent, this assumption is true. The commodity is homogeneous in nature. It is another assumption of economics which is actually not true, because no two commodities can be exactly identical. They cannot be homogeneous in nature. There is a perfect knowledge and perfect mobility of resources is another example of economics which is not practically possible, because none of the individual, none of the buyer or the seller in the market has a complete knowledge about the facts and figures which are going on in the market. He is always not aware about the realities and the statistical aspects of the economics. And again, another part is the perfect mobility of the resources, which is again not true, because all the resources, and particularly if we talk about the natural resources, land, labor, capital, keeping labor on one side, labor and capital on one side, land is completely immobile resource. So it is not practically possible that all the resources of economics are mobile in nature. Then the last but not least important one is no individual buyer or seller are in a position to influence price, which is always not true. At times the buyer does have ability to influence the price. When we talk about the process of decision making, it does involve certain steps. To begin with, the ability to define the problem, then the basic objective, identifying the objective, identifying the possible alternatives, possible solution to solve a problem. Then we intend to select any one best possible solution and we try to implement that in our particular practical life. When we talk about the circular flow of money in the economy, actually it is also backed by the circular flow of goods and services in the economy. Now, if you look at this particular diagram, on one hand, the goods are passing on from firms to the product market, which are readily available for purchases. From that product market, it passes on to the household for the consumption purpose. And again, these household, they are part and parcel of the factor market, which includes land, labor, capital, the inputs which are required for a firm to run a business. So the yellow line talks about the flow of goods in the market. On the other hand, if you see the blue line, it talks about the flow of money in the economy. As an household buys the product, the money flows from his home or his pocket to the pocket of a seller. That is, the money is flushed into the product market. These product market, they pays back the money to the firm. Firm again invest in the input for producing the raw material, and this input comes from the households. So on one hand, the goods and services are circulated in the economy, and on the other hand, the money is also circulated in the market along with the goods. So this was all about the circular flow of goods and services in the economy, which is again defined by Adam Smith, which is called as the invisible hand principle, which is nothing but the tendency of the market prices to direct individuals pursuing their own interest into productive activities that also promote the economic well-being of the society, is referred to as the individual hand principle. So that was all about today's interaction, wherein we have seen the definition of economics, the two aspects, scarcity and the choices. We have seen the distinction between microeconomics and macroeconomics. We have seen again the problem solving approach. Then we talked about the circular flow of money and goods in the economy, and lastly we have tried to understand the individual hand principle given by Adam Smith. That was all with respect to the today's interaction on the economics. Thank you so much.